Confidence is not a fluke, confidence is a choice, and it begins with our mindset. In this podcast, you will find a variety of research proven strategies that will lead you from being self critical, your worst enemy, to being the most confident version of yourself. I am Olga, former therapist, confidence life coach, blissfully an IVF mother, a wife, and this is the Journey to Happy podcast.
Hey guys, Olga here. Welcome to yet another episode of the Journey to Happy podcast. I am a former therapist. As you know, I am a life coach for women and I specialize on helping women get rid of the mental drama that makes them small, that shrinks them, that makes them believe ultimately that they are not good enough. And I specialize on making high achievers become even higher of achievers, except without any drama, without bullying themselves, because I wholeheartedly believe if we can handle our thinking, we can shift the direction of our emotions and our results. We'll have opportunity to improve our results time after time by simply, and I do say simply, understanding that this actually takes a lot of work, but by becoming aware and changing the way in which we think, especially if that way of thinking does not contribute to a life of freedom from criticizing ourselves, from bullying ourselves. So today I'm going to be talking to you in this episode about how to break the habits of avoiding emotion. I think this is pertinent to anybody who wants to listen to this episode, but I definitely see this a lot with my high achiever clients, which is all of them. My clients, like I said before, she's called a pre-Oprah. All of my clients will qualify as a pre-Oprah. They've got the potential of becoming an Oprah in their own God-given gift that they came to the world to do. And they want to, and they've accomplished already a lot on their own, but they also have this very critical mindset that stops them from getting to even greater success personally, professionally, health wise, whatever it is that they're working towards, because they have a tendency to deviate from feeling difficult emotions. In my life, the most successful people I've ever met or heard of, if I haven't met them, that they're so successful are the ones that had the ability to stand within themselves when we're having big emotions, the difficult emotions to have. Okay. So I am going to break it down as to what I think the problem is. And then, of course, as always, I'm going to offer you some of the solutions that I offer my clients. And by the way, this showed up as I'm actually going to be going through a series of episodes in which I'm answering questions that I get asked inside my Reset Your Mindset program because we're having such a wonderful time transforming our mindsets that I decided their questions were too valuable not to share them in the podcast. And so this one is no exception. It came from somebody who's noticed has a big tendency to avoid big emotions such as grief or sadness. And her way of avoidance varies, but is mostly through shopping. And that touched home for me because I'm a big shopper, big time shopper, and I have been analyzing for a long time when is it that I shop the most. And without an exception, it really is very linked to my emotional well being. So hold on tight. We're about to have a great conversation. So, what must we believe in order to avoid emotions? Why do we want to avoid the emotion? You know what? This brought me back to childhood development. And yeah, okay. I'm a geek, okay? You probably already know this. I'm probably real geeks will think of me and say, you're no geek, but I think of myself as a geek. And a few years ago, I decided to take university courses on child development. I was not even a mom, but I knew I was going to be one. And I am fascinated by human development in general. And so I thought, hey, I'm going to take some courses on psychology of how children think, how their brain develops so that I can better parent my child whenever I have him. And trust helping me not just parent him, parent myself as I parent him. So it's been really interesting. And so when I was analyzing or thinking about why is it that we have this tendency to avoid emotions, it definitely brought me back to a parenting mistake I think all of our parents have made. Even though I know this information, I have caught myself making the same mistake with my son. And I certainly have taught this to my husband because he definitely wants to do it. He does it with me. Okay, so that these are the basics of why I think we have a hard time as grown-ups having big emotions. When we were children, from baby stage, okay, newborn, all the way, but especially through your toddler years to your teen years, and we had big emotions. We were really upset. We were crying really loud, or we were swearing really loud, or we were closing the doors very hard, or we were speaking up because we were upset, or we felt this cause was so unfair and we were fighting for it. Our parents may not have had the ability to handle seeing us in discomfort. So I see this with my son. My son is only 2.5, but I see he gets hurt. When he gets hurt, our instinct is to distract him from the feeling. Look at your monkey. Look what the monkey is doing. So that we can stop watching the child that we love being in pain. It's our discomfort, the parent discomfort level of seeing our child in pain forces us to distract them from the big emotion. So I've been personally very consciously trying to raise my child to feel all the emotions because what our parents didn't do for me and you were to let us see that the emotion comes and goes and that we're okay. Everybody's okay. So if we all collectively have more tolerance to having a big, strong emotion, we'll be raising children differently. And we would today wouldn't have to have this episode on how to break the habits of avoidance of emotions. Okay, so since we were little, it came from a good place. Our parents simply didn't want us, really, our parents didn't want to see themselves suffer through you being upset in any way. And they tried so hard to shape that behavior. I even caught myself telling my son, okay, stop crying. Don't cry for that reason. Like I get annoyed when the reason he's crying for in my eyes is not a big deal. And again, I'm not saying this that you now feel really guilty about you're raising your children, but that you become aware, oh my God, nobody's ever showed us how to have strong emotions. It wasn't for me until I became a mindfulness teacher, until I was in my mindfulness teacher training, that I learned that the best thing to do with big, strong emotions is to sit down on your cushion and feel the emotion. And that is the best that we can do for others as well, is to accompany them while they're having a strong emotion. So now I don't try to change and fix my son's big emotions. I simply tell him, I'm here for you. I will accompany you until this emotion goes. And to my surprise, the emotion goes way faster than I would have thought and anticipated. So part of the beliefs we currently have about why we need to avoid emotion is because one, we think is never going to go away. That if we let the emotion show up and like stay, and if we sit with it, that it's never going to go away. Right. So if you're feeling angry and you're like, I'm going to let this anger sit in with me and we're just going to feel it, we're terrified. What if I do something stupid with this anger? So I must avoid it. Or if the emotion is grief and sadness, we're terrified that it's going to stay with us and then we're going to become depressed. And if the emotion is fear, anxiety, worry, we definitely want to avoid it. It's uncomfortable to feel it like the other emotions too. And we fear that what we're thinking about might happen if we let it, like if we just become okay with feeling this feeling, that then what we're afraid of, that we're saying it's okay if it happens. So we actually truly believe that we're better off without the emotion. And so what do we do? Listen, if I just stay really quiet and the emotion doesn't see me, maybe the emotion goes. If I ignore the emotion long enough, maybe the emotion goes away. But I want us to do an exercise right now, okay? I want you, if you're driving, don't close your eyes. But if you're not driving, close your eyes. And I want you to not think of a pink elephant, a big pink elephant. Whether you're driving or not, eyes closed or open, I want you for the next half a second to a minute. Okay, for a minute, I want you to not think of a pink elephant. Go. Don't think of a pink elephant. Okay, how many times did you think of that pink elephant? probably a few times. Maybe you saw the elephant, maybe you thought pink elephant, the words, you probably saw a pink elephant because I just told you to not think of it. So the more we resist, the more it persists. It is just our human condition. We also have never had anybody actually like show us, physically show us what to do with strong emotions. So I want you to think of your role models, the people that raised you. How did they handle their own heavy emotion? Did they allow themselves to feel them? Did they avoid them? Did you see your mom maybe, I don't know, exercising more certain times of the month? Or, what did we see? Like, I have a really hard time pinpointing at how my parents handle their strong emotions. I don't think they showed it to me unless it was like an imminent, like, reaction, like where they lost their mind or something. I would see that strong emotion. I certainly caused that emotion in them or but between themselves. But honestly, if my mom was going through a hard time, I have no idea how she handled that. Like I would have to ask her now, like, Mom, how did you handle heavy emotions when I was a kid? They never showed me this. I have no idea. So I don't think we were prepared in any way to handle strong emotions. All we knew is that our parents intervened to save us from our emotion. Unconsciously, we grow up to think it's bad to have this emotion. Do not have this emotion. Distract from the emotion. Obviously, our parents didn't know that they were, not intentionally hurting our ability to handle strong emotions. So I want you to think as a grown up human listening to this episode, how do I want to handle the feeling of strong emotions? The first thing that I want you to think about is that no emotion is good, no emotion is bad. Emotions are neutral. We give them a meaning, good or bad. Anxiety is bad. But imagine if you suddenly thought anxiety is great. What would change if that was your opinion of anxiety? Okay. But like, and we think of feeling love is good. Then we all want to feel in love because we have labeled it good. I want to invite you to think of emotions are as neutral. They're not good, it's not bad. They just are. It's not good that I'm in love, it's not bad that I'm in love. It's just how I feel. And I want you to think, especially for those heavy, big emotions that feel like a tornado just came into your body and your mind and is taking over. And so, therefore, you want to avoid. I want you to think about their impermanency. I read somewhere that an emotion actually goes through your body in less than 2 minutes. But if you ask me, I would say they last for life, these emotions. Well, no, a new emotion comes in and takes over, and then a new one and takes over. So I like to think of emotions, and I said I was going to pass on to you how I think. I like to think of my emotions as my breathing, my breath, my inhales. I would say that was a good inhale. Oh, that was bad inhale. I would try to avoid an inhale because it's bad. I would just inhale because it's the way of going about life. So I simply tell myself when I'm having a really strong emotion, this is what I teach inside my Reset Your Mindset group. One of the skills that we master inside Reset, it's our ability to what I label sitting in the mud. Sitting in the mud is sitting actually with that discomfort of that emotion and forgetting about the mental story of feeling this way and staying only with the feeling. What do I mean by leaving the mental drama or the mental story? If I feel anxious, I'm probably quite attached to a story that gave me anxiety. If I feel sad, you probably have a story that says, oh my God, now you're going to become depressed and you're going to need medication and you're going to have to be hospitalized and you're going to kill yourself. Something very dramatic. If you're feeling anxious, then it's going to be, oh my God. So you're definitely going to make a bad financial investment. And that's going to lead to losing so much money that you're going to have to sell your house and you're going to become homeless. Tell me if I'm wrong, but most of us have really dramatic brains and we can go from 0 to 100 so quickly. So sitting with the emotion is detaching from all of that. Sorry, recognizing is there. Like I can tell my mental formations are there. I can tell all the thoughts I have, but I am simply going to focus on where in my body I feel that emotion. And I am committed to fully to feeling it all the way until it transforms into a new emotion and I am going to be paying attention. to what emotion comes next and next. A big misunderstanding that I see my students have when I'm teaching this is that sitting in the mud is a 5 minute event. Sometimes, if you're feeling really anxious right now and I say, detach from the story, forget about what the brain is telling you, and just go sit somewhere quiet and connect to where you feel the feeling and feel it. Maybe send your breath to that area if it's in your chest or it's in your belly. Connect to the breathing, connect to the feeling, feel that feeling until it dissipates. Most of my clients will calm down. But the next day, they're going to tell me, I still have this feeling. It showed up. Yes, you're going to sit with it and you're going to do it a million times over until it's gone. The only way out is through. And you cannot avoid your way to success. You can only take every steps to your success. You're not a victim of your emotions. You are the creator of your emotion, which is why I also teach inside Research Your Mindset how to create new emotions by creating new thoughts. The thoughts that you currently have about your feelings leave you to the emotions you have about your feelings. Because it isn't always possible to do a mental shift right away. It is always possible to feel our emotion. Now, which are the ways in which we normally avoid? These are the ones that I see with my clients. You might have your own. Eating, scrolling definitely on social media, watching Netflix, napping. My clients are shocked by this when I've been napping a lot. I'm like, yeah, what are you avoiding? I think those are the five most common that I see. So notice if you're trying to change one of those behaviors, the problem is that you think that by feeling the emotion, you're going to grow it and it's going to stay longer. So that perception needs to be changed. And what you need to understand, the only thing you need to grab and hold on from this episode is that when you resist feeling, the feeling becomes stronger because it wants to be felt. That's it. It's like a toddler. The toddler will be louder and louder and louder until it feels heard. But if you sit down with a toddler for 5 minutes out of your time and say, I hear you, okay, let's play, that's all they need. Then their cup is full and they're ready to go and spend their energy on their own and not cry for attention. When an emotion shows up into your heart, into your feeling, into your body, the emotion wants to be heard, wants to be felt. When we avoid it, the emotion becomes stronger and louder because it thinks, hey, you haven't heard me. I want to exist. And what I want is to become trained to giving birth to all of your emotions because they're neither bad or good. They just are. And just like they come, they go, unless you resist them. And if you resist them, it's like you put glue onto that emotion and you say, stay, hang around. I don't want to feel you yet, but if you just wait here at the door, I'll hear you in 5 minutes. So what happens is the emotion knocks on your door in 5 minutes. Hey, I'm still here waiting for you to feel me. And you're like, oh, come back tomorrow. It's like this unwanted guest that shows up to your house, and you think that if you just never leave the house, if you never aware, like become aware that he's there or acknowledge that he's there, that he's going to. But tell me right now if that's ever worked for you. I know of some people who would never hire a life coach because they don't want to become aware. They're like, it's better to not know. In what world is it better to not know, to not feel? I don't know. I haven't experienced that yet. And I say this from the place of the woman who has certainly experienced really difficult emotions, emotions that I want to get out of my body and not feel because it was too painful to feel. But if I had done that, I would still be a prisoner of those feelings. Those feelings will still be alive within me and feel so real. And I am so healed and they're so far behind me that I cannot even recall what they feel like. Isn't that amazing? Okay. I want to leave you with that. Your job is to go feel feelings because why? If you don't, if you resist them, they persist and you're not healing and you're not moving forward and you're not doing yourself a favor. So, how to break the patterns? The patterns are easy. You're going to pay attention to what is your go to pattern. Is it shopping? Is it eating? Is it scrolling? Is it napping? What is it? Is it gambling? What is it? Oh, wine, drink, like alcohol or weed. What do you go for when you're trying to avoid? And I'm not asking to stop doing that thing. I just want you to begin by becoming aware. I feel depressed, therefore I'm going to go shopping. Interesting how I feel or made condition myself that to not feel sadness, I shop. Just begin there, okay? Eventually that awareness will lead you to change your behavior because you will decide that you won't go shopping, that instead you're going to feel your feeling. That's how you break the habit. It's not complicated. I told you it was simple, but if you don't do it because you think, oh, it's a given, I'll just feel the feeling and not go shopping, it's over. You will miss the target. Don't miss the target. Okay. You can do it. You can notice the urge to want to do the behavior that you've been doing to avoid. You're going to choose to feel. And if after feeling you still want to engage in the behavior, go for it. Eventually that will change because what you're going to end up exercising is your willpower and your tolerance to feel discomfort, which, by the way, you can. You can grow that tolerance anytime you choose to. All right, now I'm leaving. Talk to you guys next Monday. I hope this was helpful. If this is of interest to you, if you think you need some guidance and extra support, resetting your mindset and just creating the conditions within yourself to have even more courage, feel heavy emotions, to know what to do about them, I am so here to help you. And my next cohort of Reset Your Mindset starts June 16th. The doors are open on the 13th. I am welcoming everybody who thinks that you're really done thinking in ways that sabotage you, that make you feel smaller, that make you feel limited, that are like holding you back. Okay. So if you're interested, June 13th, I open the doors. I take 12 people, I close. Okay. So the first 12 people, first come, first served. I cannot wait to see you for 12 incredibly transformative, powerful weeks. You and I, and a group of wonderful souls who will just be walking alongside you on your progress. Head over to the show notes, sign up. See you soon.
Hey guys, Olga here. I want to talk to you about Reset Your Mindset because the next cohort is about to start and you are not going to miss out. I want you to learn how to implement ways in which you can think differently, break the mental habits that are holding you back, that are keeping you small. You were born to do great things. You were born to love yourself, and this is your opportunity to do so. This is a 12-week program where you have weekly calls with me and with our group. You will be able to recognize that there's nothing wrong with you, that you're not broken. You don't need a psychologist. You need no fixing, but you need to be empowered from you to you. And I know exactly how to do that. So I hope to see you inside. There's going to be you and another 11 women. It's a group of 12. It gives you personalized coaching. And I promise you, you will leave those 12 weeks feeling empowered and confident. If you do not, your money will be returned to you. So this is a guarantee that I have for you. You will feel more confident and more empowered by the time we're done. Cannot wait to see you in there. This is your time to sign up. The spots do go by really fast. So I hope you take action immediately. Head over to the show notes and sign up.